I've never done this before, but here goes nothing. Did I not measure this wall properly? Oh, okay. Houston, we may have a problem. Oh my gosh, I cannot mess this up. I'm juggling life, a tight budget, and zero DIY skills, but what could go wrong? I don't know what I was thinking. Oh my gosh. I'm giving myself just $500 to make this space actually feel like home. And spoiler alert, I almost gave up. Let's see if I can actually pull this off. I'm so tired. Good morning, guys. I'm really happy because as you can see, the walls are painted. This is the color Greek Villa by Sharon Williams. This is exactly the color, the vibe that I was going for. I am not going to keep the trim this even better beige color. I'm going to change that. And I'm just going to like color drench. Technically, not really because I'm not painting the ceiling the same color, but all the trim is going to match the wall. What I'm going to be doing right now is mapping out all of my wall molding. I did purchase some base cap molding from Home Depot because as you guys saw in my inspo pictures and my mock-up, I do want to put some kind of wall trim on here just to make it stand out more. I don't know if I'm just going to do like 2 boxes or if I'm going to do a larger box in the middle and 2 thinner ones on the side. I'm really going to just try to map it out with some painter's tape, and I took the measurements and kind of mapped everything out already. This is my drawing. It's a rough draft. This is like this would be that wall right here, and then the staircase, and then this is the closet, and then this is the other wall. I'm not an architect by any means, but you know, I love stuff like this. So I'm not quite ready to install my baseboards yet, but I do want to just put them in place so that I have a better idea of the actual amount of space of the wall that I have. So enough yapping, let's get to like mapping this out. The first order of business for me in this process was to double check all of my measurements to ensure that everything would fit the way I envisioned. This did feel like an extra step, but I was really glad that I did this because I was able to catch some errors that I had made early on before anything permanent went up on the walls. I used small pieces of painter's tape to mark where the vertical pieces would be located on the wall and to get a better visual so that I could decide if this was truly how I wanted everything laid out. Once I got all my pieces of tape up on the wall, I was able to settle on my final measurements and move on to the next step. That's 30. Wait. Did I not measure this wall properly? 2.5. 10. I must have miscalculated, guys. I don't know. I'm like, wait a second. This is not adding up. 30, 40, 50, 55, 60. What in the world is going on here? Okay. That's so crooked. Okay. So you guys saw me get some base cap molding from the hardware store, and this is what I have. I'm not cutting anything down yet because I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing. Essentially, I'm gonna tape these on the wall to get a better idea. I'm trying to save on cost, so I do want like that custom look, but the more cuts that I have, the more trim I'm gonna have to buy to make up for those cuts. I'm just gonna tape it down. I then decided to dry fit all of my trim pieces so that I could really get a good feel for the final look. I really hope it stays. Oh! Okay. I'd be lying if I said I didn't expect that to happen. I kind of like that this doesn't have a wide gap and then it starts like a new bot. I kind of like that look, guys. You guys may be thinking, okay, it's a small wall, why not just do 1 box or 2 boxes so that way they're wider? And the reason why is because from a design standpoint, a lot of times when you do things in 3s or odd numbers, it tends to flow a lot better and feel, oh my gosh, done again. it tends to flow a lot better and feel more balanced, whereas even numbers like 2, 4, it may feel either like cluttered or just not really well balanced. Okay, I'm gonna try to cut one of them, and I'm gonna use my handy dandy miter shears and hope that I can cut it with that, because this one is really like not comfortable to use. Like, it doesn't have a really nice grip. Down here, which is 57. I really hope this piece is easy to cut because it's a lot thicker. And like I said, I might have to get another pair of miter shears because these are like not the easiest to cut with. Oh my gosh, I have to like do something crazy. Okay, you guys don't want to know what I just did. I stepped on it to cut because I couldn't do it with my hands, but it worked. It worked. I kind of like it. Like, should I just cut it? Like, should I make them the height of my closet so everything kind of like matches up? Will it feel like there's too much space up there? That's my concern. I don't want it to feel like empty at the top, but then it's also such a small area that I feel like putting a box up there is not gonna look good. So I don't know. Cut it like this. I needed to try to cut it, realized I can't cut it, and then I just stepped on it like this. Don't try this at home. Guys, don't follow me, okay? I'm just like a problem solver. I try to figure things out, and so this is the way I figured it out. Okay guys, I've decided that I actually really love this placement, so this is what I'm sticking with and I'm excited about it. I think it looks really good. I want to show you guys some of my inspo pictures, like this one. I love how the box is longer and then there's a mirror in the middle and the sconces, and that's actually exactly what I already planned on doing over here. So I feel like it just works really well. And if you look, they actually did bring the molding up past the closet there, and it looks fine to me. My only issue is that I kind of already cut some of the trim pieces. Some of these pieces were already cut before I brought them home, so this is what I'm settling on. I'm gonna start just making marks on the wall with a pencil because these are bound to fall off the wall, is what I'm finding right now, and it's just gonna be a lot easier for me. I'm so happy because it's coming together and it's gonna look really good. Good morning guys, it's the next day. We finished mapping out where we're gonna do the trim on this wall in the entryway. Since I already have this wall mapped out, I wanna just go ahead and get everything up on the walls and then we'll move on to the next wall. So let's go ahead and get started. The shorter one would go here. It was finally time to get to the fun part, and I decided to install all of my vertical pieces first since I spent most of my time mapping out where those would go. I worked piece by piece, cutting everything to the size that I needed, and I also decided that I would be working on this wall first before moving on to the other wall. Guys, we have a dilemma. Okay, so these, you guys saw me mark them together, but for some reason, one of these has space under here. I guess I cut one too short, but I don't know. We're gonna try to make it work because I don't have money to just be spending on extra pieces. I could use that piece for something else, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm here to tell you, even as a perfectionist myself, that sometimes you will make mistakes while DIYing, and it is perfectly okay. I was so tempted to go and buy another piece of trim just to get this piece to be exact, but in the grand scheme of things, I was the only person that was going to notice it, and it was going to be hidden behind our entry table anyway. I cut a 2.5 inch spacer because it will help me to make sure that everything is evenly spaced. So I have my spacer here like that. It literally is perfect. That's so awesome. Using this spacer block really helped me to keep things moving quickly once my initial trim pieces were up on the wall. And before I knew it, I was done getting all of my vertical trim pieces up on this wall. I'm done with the vertical pieces. It looks really good. I'm loving it. And now we can get to cutting all of my top and bottom pieces. Make sure that it's on the right side and on that. Okay guys, I want to talk really quickly about something with you guys, and there are many ways that you can do trim like this. I've seen where, like, when you run into something like this, like a obstruction in your trim, you could like cut everything to wrap around it and then finish it off like that. The thing is, if you want to save on cost and save on trim, then it'd be easier to just finish it off like this versus wrapping the whole object. You know, it also comes down to preference. Some people may love that look. I personally don't, and this is what works best for me. So anyways, I cut this piece down and it fits perfectly. Got my pieces here. I'll be honest with you, I made like rough measurements for this one and I'm hoping it fits. Oh, that was literally perfect. Yes. Okay, awesome. No battery. I do this all the time, guys. You know this. Since all of my vertical trim pieces were all up on the wall, installing the horizontal pieces was a breeze. This project was so rewarding because I was able to see the fruit of my labor almost immediately. So now we do the top. Okay guys, I have one really long piece of trim left that will allow me to finish the top pieces here. So I'm gonna make a mitered cut right at this edge, and I'm also gonna measure for the other corner. Okay guys, moment of truth. I think I need to just trim up a tiny bit more, just a slither, and then it'll work. So let me go and do that. Take 2 guys. I need to shave it down just the slightest again. All right guys, take 3. Let's try it again. Okay, there we go. It fits. Okay. Okay, last 2 pieces. Let's see if they fit. This one fits perfectly. This one I cut a little tiny slither too short, but I can fill it in, make it work. I need my glasses. What am I doing, guys? I need to hammer that one in a little more. I made a mistake. I cut this piece too short, so in order to make it fit, I cut an additional like spacer piece, and I mitered both of them so that way when I put them together, the seam is very minimal, and then I can like just fill that in and make it as seamless as possible. Sorry, you're not even seeing what I'm doing, but it'll go like this, and then this all will just sit right in the spot. Let's see if I need to shave it off anymore though. That looks pretty good. Looks a lot better than it did before. This is the end of the first day of box trim install. Good, I'm gonna sign off for the day. Okay guys, so I'm going to be planning out all of my trim pieces for this side of the wall. I have everything kind of like drawn out. I took measurements and determined what's with each one of my boxes are going to be. I'll be able to fit 3 boxes on this wall, but they will be a little bit wider since this is a wider wall. I'm gonna make a spacer of 3 inches so that way when I get ready to install all of my vertical pieces, it'll be very easy for me to just use that as a spacer and nail it in. So without further ado, let's get talking. I mean, not let's get talking. Let's get to work and enough talking. This day was very much a repeat of the days prior, as I used the same methods as before for this second wall. We're gonna see if my measurements were all accurate or not. Now, this wall is a bit larger than the first one I did, so my measurements had to be adjusted accordingly. I wonder if I can, oh, okay. So I'm like, I wonder if I can somehow finesse this to where this is like in one of the gaps. I'm gonna map it out to what I had already planned, and then we're gonna look at it from there. So this would be 1 box, and then maybe like a sconce here or something. And then this would be another box. I'll like maybe mark in a little X where I plan to have my little sconces. So if this is the line, right? I'd probably do like Some of you may be wondering why I didn't just use a laser level to do all of this work for me, but remember, I'm working on a budget, and honestly, I want to be able to show you all that you don't always need all the fancy power tools and supplies to get the job done. Dare I say, for every power tool you see your favorite DIYer using, there is a more affordable and many times just as effective alternative. After all the measuring was over, it was finally time to start installing the trim on the second wall in the entryway. Did I run out of nails? I sure did. Ugh. Watch out. I can honestly say that I was really nervous prior to doing this project, but the fear all melted away once I got started. Oh, Houston, we may have a problem. I think the outlet cover for this might hit this. What are the odds that it's like just exactly right? I'm thinking that this trim would have been fine, but I think it's gonna run into the plate. Yep, plate. So I'm gonna actually have to cut into that. I don't even know where my pencil is yet again. I keep losing my pencil. How is that even so? Pencil, anyone? No? Oh, thank you, Mama. That's so sweet. Okay, I'll use the one you gave me. Guys, I only have a couple pieces left. I just cut down this middle piece and it fits perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and nail it in. This is probably like one of the most perfect cuts that I've done, which is crazy. I ran out of nails already, huh? I'm not sure if I like let you guys know. I'm just using 1 1/4 inch or 1 1/2 inch nails. So the middle box is complete, but I will have to remove this side piece to cut a notch out where my light switch plate is gonna be. I mean, another option would be to just cut my light switch plate. I could do that. I might do that actually. It'd be a lot easier to just do that than to cut into my trim, and I feel like it'd also look a little more finished if I cut into the light switch plate and not my trim. So I think I'm gonna do that also because I could replace this a lot easier than I can my trim. It's more affordable. So I think I'm gonna cut this and not my trim. Wow, wow, wow. I really did this, guys. Looks so good. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna, since I already have the nail gun out, I'm gonna go ahead and put this baseboard in. Sure. That one is not wanting to go in all the way. Before we move on to the next day, I want to introduce you all to today's sponsor, FlexiSpot. FlexiSpot is a sustainable furniture company that specializes in innovative and flexible furniture solutions for the corporate setting, the home, and beyond. FlexiSpot sent me their Kana Japanese Joinery Bed frame and headboard, which was perfect for hubby and I because our old bed frame is literally on its last leg. Look at this. And it has been affecting our sleep. The Kana Japanese Joinery Bed frame is crafted with solid rubber wood and traditional mortise and tenon joinery for unmatched durability. Rubber wood is hard wood with high hardness, strength, and is not easily damaged. One thing I love about this bed is not just how budget friendly or how easy it is to set up, but also how sturdy it is. It can hold up to 1,200 pounds. There are no screws involved in the setup of the Kana bed frame. You just lock the solid wood pieces into place and enjoy a wobble-free experience in just 10 minutes. The Kana Japanese Joinery Bed is also made with inward recessed legs for a snug wall fit and slats that are secured with Velcro for a secure, noise-free experience. Something that really stood out to me with this bed is how customizable it is. FlexiSpot gives you the option to purchase the matching headboard in either an oak or walnut finish, and there's even an option for a pillow board that has a removable and washable cover, making it really easy to keep clean. The Kana bed frame is even compatible with FlexiSpot's electronic adjustable backrest. And one of my favorite features, the 10.2-inch clearance that allows me plenty of room for underbed storage to make the most of my space. If you'd like to experience this FlexiSpot bed frame for yourself, click the link in my description box below. Don't miss out, use my exclusive code for an instant discount. Hello guys, it's the next day, and as you guys can see, we have our picture frame molding up on the wall in the entryway. And now I'm going to caulk the seams so that everything is nice and seamless looking. I'm going to fill the nail holes. I'm also going to be finishing up the baseboards in here and then let everything dry, and then we can do touch-up paint tomorrow. Now that all of the base cap molding has been installed, I went ahead and caulked all of the seams of the trim, and this might seem really tedious to some, but this is the step that takes a job from amateur to professional. If done right, of course. So I wanted to share this little tip with you guys. I saw this in a YouTube video, and pretty much when you cut your angle on your caulk tube, you take a permanent marker of any color, obviously other than white, and you just mark where the like pointed tip part is, so that way you can keep your tube at a certain angle, so when you're caulking you get a cleaner application. So just wanted to share that little tip with you guys. It may be easy to overlook caulking, but it is really important to the overall finish of any trim project. I have something that I want to share with you, and we welcomed a new addition to our family, and here she is. She's just the sweetest little girl ever, and her name is Zola. She's a red golden doodle, and she's just the sweetest, calmest little puppy. She's 9 weeks old, and She's a standard, so she's gonna get about 50 to 55 pounds. She has the sweetest temperament, like very relaxed, very chill, but then she's also very playful. And we just got her yesterday. Yesterday I took the day off just so I can, you know, get her settled in. She's so sweet. And so we got her for our daughter's birthday. We're just really excited to add her to the family and to the YouTube family. Of course, you guys will be seeing her in videos here and there. So I just wanted to introduce her to you guys. If you're seeing this, put in the comments, welcome to the family, Zola. And her name is spelled Z-O-L-A. Okay guys, so I finished caulking all of the seams for all of my trim and everything looks a lot better. Now I need to fill the nail holes. I'll be using this Drydex spackling. Another part of the finish work for this project is making sure all of the nail holes were filled so that everything would look nice and seamless. And trust me, this is not a step you want to skip because it will help to make everything look super custom and put together once it's all painted. Hello guys, it's the next day and I filled all the nail holes on the picture frame molding, caulked all the seams. So now that everything has had plenty of time to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and sand all of my spackling down where my nail holes are. I also have a few more pieces of baseboard that I need to install. Once the nail holes were filled and the spackling was dried, I started sanding everything down using a sanding sponge so that all the trim was nice and smooth and ready to be painted. I finished sanding all of the nail holes down on my trim, and I have an area of trim that I need to actually bondo because I ended up cutting one of the angles too short, or one of the pieces too short. And so in order to prevent it looking like super choppy and just having like a blunt, like straight cut, I angled that cut and then fit another piece with it to fill the length that I needed. But that leaves me with a small gap that needs to be filled. While I let the bondo dry on the trim that I needed to fix, I turned my attention to the light switch plate. I got to cutting down the light switch plate with my multi-tool, and this was a little tricky at first because even with it being clamped down to my worktop, it kept sliding around, so I had to apply a lot of pressure to keep it from moving while I cut it, but not too much to where it would snap. And once the light switch plate was trimmed down, I used a sanding sponge to sand it smooth. Now, I know these light switches aren't the prettiest to look at since they are probably original to the home from the 90s, but I fully plan to switch them out eventually, just not right now. Okay guys, so in order to sand down the area where the Bondo is, I'm gonna use a little unconventional tool, and that is my nail drill. And I feel like this stuff, it works really well to file down like acrylics and stuff like that. So it should work pretty well in that area because my multi-tool, I just don't have the right attachments for it. So I'm gonna use my nail drill, and I know some of you guys might really like come for me in the comments. I really don't care because if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. So we're gonna see. Now, if it doesn't get the job done and you come for me in the comments, then I really did it to myself. But let's hope that it works, okay? Can you hear that? I'm gonna see if it works. Oh, it seems to be working. I bet you guys have never seen anyone on YouTube use a nail drill to do something like that. It's not perfect, but it's a good start. I'm just gonna use my sanding sponge to kind of like smooth it out even more. I don't know. Helping. So with the nail file, I actually made an indent in the trim a little bit, so I do need to fill that again, but I'm going to use spackle because it's more of a shallow indent. When you think about it, a nail file really isn't too far off. It's kind of like using a Dremel, but I just don't have one, and so I just use what I already have. This will be fairly easy to sand. We have our paint here, Greek Villa. Now that all the trim was prepped and ready to go, I gave everything a nice coat of paint in the color Greek Villa to match the walls using my angled brush. Good morning guys, it's the next day and we finished the first coat of paint on all of our trim pieces. It looks really good. Everything is just like blending in so smooth and it looks like custom, so I'm really loving that. We have lots to do today and I'm really excited about potentially how much I get done today. The next day, I did a second coat of paint on all of the trim to make sure that I got the best coverage possible. This definitely took a little time since I had to make sure that I didn't skip over any areas, but the end result was well worth the extra effort. I know installing the baseboards after I've already installed and painted my picture frame molding may seem a bit backwards, but sometimes I work according to the mental capacity that I have for the day, and this week it seems some things just ended up being done a little bit out of order, but no worries, we still got it done. I used some shims to make sure that my baseboards were level before attaching them to the wall. I noticed that whoever installed this flooring left a lot more than the standard 1/4 inch gap between the floor and the wall, so I wanted to make sure that my baseboards didn't fall in the gap and become uneven at all. I'm so tired. I'm trying to get up. But I had a workout yesterday, guys. I had a interesting strength and conditioning class with some figure skating on the side, and now we're gonna get to work. If I can get up. Once the baseboards were installed, I got all of the seams caulked with my Alex Plus and all the nail holes filled with spackle so that it all looked fresh and clean and was ready for paint. And yes, I did spare you all, and I decided to sand all of the spackle and paint the baseboards off camera. Good morning, guys. It is another day and we are going to finally get the front door painted. Time to get to work, guys. I'm gonna try to prep this door. I also don't necessarily want to scrape the whole door if I don't have to, you know? But like if the paint is coming off, then I need to get it off. Before I could apply any paint to the front door, I needed to prep it so that I could get a really great paint application that will last and won't chip. I used a wallpaper scraper and scraped away any paint that was peeling from the door, and then followed it with the sanding sponge so that I could get the surface as smooth as possible. I think I've got it to a decent point. I'm gonna prime it before I paint just to be on the safe side. I'm gonna use the BIN primer. This is my favorite primer and I can paint in 30 to 45 minutes. Since it is shellac, it should seal everything really well. So we're gonna go in with this and see what happens. Different paint. Once my door was prepped and ready to go, I went ahead and sealed everything using my BIN shellac base primer so that the surface of the door would more readily accept my paint. Good morning, guys. It's the next day and as you can see, I primed the front door and so now it's time to finally paint it. So I have this Sherwin-Williams, it's HETV Home Sherwin-Williams interior and exterior door and trim paint. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I really hope I end up liking it. I got it in the color Caviar by Sherwin-Williams, which is black. I have all black on because in case I get paint on my clothes, I don't want to like completely ruin my clothes. And we're gonna get to painting this front door. It feels pretty good like with the primer on, so I'm assuming that everything will stick pretty well. So let's get to it. Ooh, that's thick. I'm a little nervous. I feel like because it's black paint, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot mess this up, you know? Like, I really hope I end up liking this.
Honestly, out of all the things you did, I'm actually honestly concerned about this one.
I'm scared about this too. I don't know if I'm making the wrong decision, and I don't know what I was thinking. Oh my gosh. Once I finish, it should look good, right? I feel like as I'm painting it, I'm really nervous because I almost feel like I'm making the wrong choice together. Okay guys, I'm gonna show you a little sneak peek of what it looks like with the first coat of paint. It's not bad. Like, you can get an idea. Obviously, I would paint the trim black to match, right? I don't know. It's not bad. It's not hideous, right? I really feel like this part of the makeover is about trusting the process. While we're here doing the second coat, let's go over where I am within the $500 budget for this entryway makeover. For drywall materials, I spent $48.98. For paint and primer, I've spent about $111.02. For all of my base cap molding, I spent a whopping $122.54. For miscellaneous materials like the trim puller and the large level, I spent $30.62. And for prep materials like the disposable drop cloths and painter's tape, I spent $24.13. So that brings us to a total of $337.29. Now, to be fair, I did want to mention that I did not include the cost of the drywall sander, 18-inch paint roller kit, or the skimming tool set that I used, simply because these items were either sponsored, which means that I did not pay for them, or are higher price items like the sander that were all extremely helpful and efficient, but not completely necessary in completing the project. I will include links to more affordable alternatives to these that may be just as convenient in the description box below. But if I were to have paid for and included these higher price items in my budget, I would easily be over the $500 just from these 3 items alone. With just over $160 left in the budget, let's see if I end up going over. In the next video, I will be installing peel and stick tiles for the very first time, and I am so excited for y'all to see it because this was such a budget friendly project, but it completely transformed the entryway. If you've enjoyed this video, it would really help me if you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be updating you all on the community tab when the next video is being released. Thank you all so much for watching, and be blessed.